Who's here? Can you hear me? Testing, can you guys hear me? Is anyone here? It says there's 2 people here, but I don't see anyone. Hi, Latosha. Can you hear me okay? Hi, Latosha. Whoops, I have my volume up. I'm watching myself. I know that's weird, but I'm just testing out my microphone and my camera. I mean, it's not the best camera. I wanted to use my other camera, but it's not connecting. So this is going to have to do until I can use my phone, I guess. But my camera, I had some people on here before, and then my computer just literally, for no reason, shut off. So I don't know if it was a connection issue. It looks fine. So I'm basically just testing everything right now because every single time I do a live, something happens to me. And I'm just trying to figure it out before I go live again for good. And I'm just tired of it shutting off on me, and I don't know why it keeps doing that. So is my network clear? Is it staticky or anything? Hi again, everyone. Sorry. What does it say when you try to connect to the camera? So I we did everything it said. I watched a YouTube video on it and everything. So I had to download the Canon Rebel T7, the EOS utility app. And so I downloaded that. And then I hooked that up to my computer. Well, downloaded that to my computer. And then I installed it and everything like that. And that was working. So my camera, when I turned it on, it actually like popped up on my screen on my computer. So that worked and that was all good. And then I did the mic, same thing with the mic. I had to download whatever software it called for. And then that hooked up, the mic was fine. But then like for some reason, when I went to go set up my live in YouTube, it wasn't showing up on the camera options. It was only showing the computer. But then when I would go to the settings on the computer, it was showing up. So I don't know. I'm not a tech person, so I have no idea why it was like showing up in one place, not the other. And then when I would get off of YouTube from setting up the live, it would be on the computer again. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong or what I'm missing, but I've downloaded everything I need to. So anyway, I just wanted to at least test this microphone out to see if it was clear. So then I just put it on my other laptop. The only thing is this is it's not old, but it's not a great laptop. And so I wanted to see if the camera was okay on it for the time being until I figure out what I'm doing with the camera. But I have a really long charging cord, like it's literally plugged in over there. So it reaches and I can move around and stuff, but this computer always has to be plugged in. So I think that's why it shut off on me. I didn't think it would die that quick. Like I literally just turned it on and it was on for maybe 25 minutes. So there's no reason why it should have died. So that's the only thing I could think of why it literally just shut down on my last live. Hi, Veronica. Thanks for joining. I'm very new too, so I literally just started YouTube within the last like 2 weeks. So I'm really glad that you like my videos. I have a lot more coming. I actually have a video that I just need to do some voiceovers on, and I will be putting that out probably tomorrow. So I've got the editing part down, finally. And I need to get so tonight I'm on here just testing out a new microphone that I got because I did a live last night and it was really muffled and people were saying they couldn't really hear me when I was walking back and forth and when the machine's going and everything. And it was a brand new webcam, so it should have been fine, but apparently it wasn't a very good one. So I'm going to send that one back. And I actually just ordered this one this morning, this microphone I'm using, and it came today already. So I wanted to test it out. Yes, Veronica, they're amazing. Those are what literally keeps me sane. Like I have all these orders right here to do. These have to go out tomorrow. So yeah, I just thought that I could test out this microphone, and whoever wants to stay on here with me while I just work can stay on. Don't feel like you have to. This was just a testing video, and I'll probably end up deleting these testing videos just because they're not. There's nothing to them really. I'm just talking. So it sounds good though. Oh, and Veronica, if you see me doing this with my eye, I always talk about it. I have a bad eye, and so I can see when I'm looking like this, but when I go to read like little things, I can't really see, so I always have to like cover my eye. So if I do this, you know why now. Call the webcam company and they should be able to talk you through it. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that because it's a brand new camera and it's a really nice, expensive one. It should work. So I was just, this is the like third time that I've like sat down for like more than, hours just trying to figure this out. And it's so frustrating because I cannot get it to connect. And I'm just having like the worst luck and the worst time trying to. I enjoy doing these lives and I want to like communicate with you guys and show you like everything that I do, but it's just really hard when nothing's working for me. So I'm trying. I promise I'll get it sometime. Don't delete them. I know, but I don't want people to like watch them and be like, move on to the next video because I don't know. To watch one of your videos to motivate me to work on face masks and log in and found your live. Aw, thank you. That makes me happy. I know I always watch lives too when I work. So like last night I did my live, but the night before I had so much work to do and I just like kept looking for lives, because it just like keeps me. And then the only bad thing is that you don't realize what time it is. And then my husband gets mad at me because I stay up too late. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, well, yeah, so I'm gonna start working. You guys can hang out, you can leave, you can work with me. Also, tell me like on the chat, because like last night I got off and I reread the whole chat. And now I figured out how to find the chat. Like even after, I didn't know you could keep the live chat. And so today when I was looking like through my YouTube's, actually I think I just went in on my channel, like not logged in as myself, and you can, there's a way to read the live chat like while you're watching it. I didn't know that. What else did I find today? It was such a beautiful day where I live. I live in Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was like super nice out today. It was like 70 something degrees, sunny. It wasn't hot. It was like perfect. So we sat outside all day, and I watched my niece today. I watch her like a couple times a week, sometimes like once, but sometimes more than that. And she was here today, and we just hung out outside, and I just sat on my phone while they were playing, jumping on the trampoline and everything, and I was just like trying to experiment in the studio because I'm new to YouTube too. And so I was just like, I need to figure out all these like tricks and like just the way around it, try to figure it all out. It's funny because I'm not used to this. I keep thinking I'm attached to my computer, and I'm not. It's wireless. That's the reason why I got it, so I can move around and not have to worry about it. But I keep thinking that if I move, I'm going to like rip it out of my computer. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. So like North Scottsdale. So when I do my lives, I know it's like super late for you guys because I think I'm in Mountain Standard Time right now. So it's like, I think I'm the earliest one. I know a lot of people are in California too. I think we're on the same, maybe they're an hour ahead of me. I don't know. But I always feel bad because I have 4 kids and I can't get on lives until 8:30 my time, which is like 10:30 most other people's time. And so, yeah, like, yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning for you right now. So you're crazy. Yeah, I have. Is Bingham my last name? Yes, Bingham is my last name. So I actually like having it on my computer better than I had it on the webcam because I have my phone up right now. I don't know how you guys do it, but like I was trying to figure out how to be able, because I can read the comments easier on my phone than I can on the computer. And every time I tried to connect to it on my live, it would get cut off and I would have to start a new live. So I couldn't figure that out. So, but now it's like working fine for me on here and I can see your guys' comments and stuff. Yeah, it's 11:30 my time. Where are you at, Veronica? Are you in California? Yeah, you're in California, Pacific time. My sister just moved back from California. How many orders are you packing up? A lot. You get lots of orders. Don't rub it in. Can't wait till it gets warm. See, now I can read all your guys' comments. Yeah, actually, I'm a native from Arizona, and I can't deal with the cold. So when it's cold here, it's really freaking cold here. So today was like beautiful. But I have my shop is in my garage. And so in the summertime, like I have an AC unit in here, but I don't have a heater in here. So my AC unit is like, it's almost like a cooler, I guess. So it's not like technically an AC unit. So in the summertime, I can keep it cool. But in the winter, it's freezing in here. So I'm like, I have jackets and I'll have like a 32-degree like long sleeve on with like a sweater over it, with a jacket over it. Like I'm like literally cold because I cannot handle the cold. And everyone calls me a baby, but I just can't do it. And I can't work when my fingers are like frozen. And my husband for Christmas, he bought me those little like hand warmers. And I'm like, I can't use those when I'm sewing. Like, he's like, just keep them in your pockets. I'm like, but I'm using my hands. I can't do that. So anyway, I do have a space heater that I use, but when I plugged it in the other day, my power went out because I have so much crap like going. I have this heater on, I have my embroidery machine going, I have all my sewing machines on. Like I have just too much in here. And my uncle is an electrician, and he installed a whole new unit of electricity. I don't even know if that's the right terminology for that, but he put way more power in here, and it still went out. So I must just use a lot of power. So if you guys want to know like where I got my business name, my last name is Bingham. And when you first start your business, you don't really know like how to pick out a name or like what sounds good or professional, or sometimes you don't even know like where you're going to be headed like in the future, because you know where you're starting because you're just starting and you're just learning everything, but you never know like where you're going to end up. And so I just wanted something like, and also like I knew I wanted to do children's stuff, but I didn't know like where it was going to lead me. And I didn't want it to be too girly, but I also didn't want it to be like just my last name. So I don't know, I was just thinking about like how my life is and like where I'm at and like in that specific moment, and the word bliss just like popped up. And then also it was just like B and B, like if I wanted to just like shorten it like for just a small label, like a clothing label. I haven't done that yet. I've wanted to forever, but I just haven't, because I have a girl clothing label and a boy clothing label, which I can show you if you guys haven't seen them. So I was just like, what do I want to make my business name? And I just thought, I looked up the word bliss and its meaning. Like if you look at my website, its actual meaning just comes from like joyful life, like you just love life. And at that moment, I just was so happy because I had just had my third child, and with my two older daughters, I wasn't able to stay home with them. I didn't have that option, and they're from a previous relationship. And when I had my first son, I was able to stay home with him. And so I was just like over the moon, like happy. And like I was just so in love with life. And so the meaning being on bliss, that's where it comes from, was just being joyfully happy. And I carried that into my business, and everything I do, I love. And so I try to like share that with everyone. And you know, I just believe like if you don't like what you're doing, don't do it. Find something you love to do and enjoy doing it, because then it doesn't feel like work. Like right now, I could be sleeping because I'm super tired, but I would rather work because I love working. Um, so that's where my business name came from. And of course, I'm girly, so I added the flowers onto my logo. But then, like I said before, when you like evolve and you figure out like where your business is going, I ended up thinking it was way too girly of a logo to put on like boy clothing. And so then I didn't change the name of the logo. I just took the flowers off. And then instead of it being like the blush pink, I made it like black or like dark gray for the boys. So all of my boy clothing or my gender neutral clothing, I put the boy-ish tags on them. And all of the girl ones, I put the pink logo with the flowers on them. So just a idea of what you can do with a logo if you're kind of not knowing what to do there. My children, I have 4 kids, and my oldest is 15. She just turned 15 last month, December 18th. And I have a 13-year-old. She just turned 13 November 13th. And then I have a 4-year-old who will be turning 5 in April. And then my 2.5-year-old, actually almost 3. He's almost 3. He'll be 3 on Valentine's Day. He's a Valentine's Day baby. So 3, 5, 13, and 15. I know some of you have been on my lives. Who hasn't been on my lives before? I've only done 2, so I don't really know that many people. Very, very new to this. Thank you, Veronica. It's still a work in progress. I'm trying to figure it all out, trying to organize. I need to get rid of like all my fabric that I don't use. I have so much fabric that just sits, and I just want to organize it so that I can just use the space the right way, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Do you guys have questions for me? I know I'm just chit-chatting. This isn't supposed to be a live. This was just supposed to be like a testing thing, but I feel like I need to do something. So I'm going to, I'm going to start, actually, where did I put that shirt? Right here. So I just made this shirt today. It was a listing that I had up, but she wanted to change the colors on it. So I'm actually just going to take a picture of this and post it in a new listing because I really like it. Sterling Styles. Your name is Pam, right? I watch a lot of your videos, but everyone always refers to you as Sterling. So this is the shirt I made today. I don't know if you can see that. It looks yellow in the camera, but it's like creamy white, like an off-white with gold flakes on it. It's super cute. Oh, wow. I wonder how I popped up. That's weird. Well, nice to meet you. Thanks for watching. I'm going to start doing lives every Monday. So if you work at night, you can pop on. I usually do them at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So this coming up Monday, I actually started a sew-along with 2 other gals. So Connie, she has the business name Scandies. And then Gabby, she's Best of Both Worlds. We are all 3 teamed up and we're doing sew-alongs just for fun, kind of like tonight, just to sit and hang out with some of the girls that, I mean, we don't really know you guys, but we know you from talking like over the phone and stuff. We're in a Discord group together, most of us are, and we just chit chat all day and we help each other out if any of us have questions. That's actually like who I contacted tonight before I got on my live, just to see if anybody was up and wanted to help me out and see if my microphone was actually working. So is it still working good for everyone? Is it clear? Yes, I can show you my labels. Yes. So yeah, Pam, I actually, when I first started, I watched all your videos, and then I watched your videos, and I watched Angela. So I've learned a lot from you guys. Can you guys hear me when I walked around over there? Hi, Mia. Okay, so I've actually transitioned. So these are still my current labels, but you can tell the difference. I made them smaller. So these are my girl ones. And it's the same as my logo that I have on everything. So these ones are a little bit bigger, and I actually contacted the lady and asked if she can cut them smaller because I don't like big labels, so she made them as small as she could go. And so then I then contacted her and said, could we make a more simple one for the boys? And so these are my boy ones. They're literally exactly the same, just without the flowers, and it's black, all black. And if you guys are wondering what the NF is on my labels, so they fold. Obviously, they're sew-in labels. So on everything, it's like, those are my label. And then on the other side, it's this. So 15, 3, and 1. Nice. So the NF, my son, my youngest son, my Valentine baby, he was actually diagnosed with neurofibromatosis. Do you guys know what that is? Any of you? So if you don't, it's a genetic disorder, and I don't know how he got it. None of us have it. I mean, possibly somebody in my family has it, but we don't know of it. And I mean, all of us are doing fine, so none of us got tested, and none of us want to know because we're fine. So he was diagnosed with that, and that's like one of the, like, I started sewing and crafting and stuff before, but then when I found that out, we found that out at 3 months of his age. And then after I found that out, like, that's another reason why I came up with my logo, my business name, Being a Bliss, was just because, like, I was so happy that that I'm able to, like, stay home with him and just take care of him and be with him, like, through every step of his life. And so I put that on all my tags, and I also donate some of my proceeds to the Neurofibromatosis Foundation. So I put that on my website and everything, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just heartwarming for me to just be able to put that out there and be able to take care of, like, just whatever. And nothing's wrong with him. He's perfect. It's a developmental thing. So I don't know until something happens, basically, with him. So it's just day by day. And he's perfect now, but tomorrow could be different. So every day is just like I don't know. So that's kind of like the story behind me. Yeah, I've heard that you've been in business for a really long time. How long have you been doing it? Okay, I'm gonna pack this up. I want to take you guys over to my photo booth so I can show you how I do my photos, but I don't want my camera to turn off because my computer is horrible. So I don't think I can do that. Aw. So 14 years? Wow. I'm sure you've learned so much. I'm completely self-taught, and I still am learning. I've been doing it since the end of, like, 2017. So like 3.5 years. Almost, I guess. All right, I'm gonna move you guys over here. I have all these orders to do. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys this way. Hi, Brenda. Are you new here? Hmm. Okay. So I don't really want to like, these are all bummies, but I know that in our sew along, Connie is going to be going over the sew or the bummies, and so I'm going to sew them, but I'm not going to like go into detail because I don't want you guys to not be able to do it with her. But these are just my orders, and I have to get them done by tomorrow, so I just got to do them. So they are organic, actually. They're organic cotton. I don't know if you can see it. And then I use these. I put all my like sizes in here. So I just organize them, and then I keep my back stock like over there, but then I just like fill them in as I go if I need, whenever I need to. I just like everything in like containers or bins. I'm a bin person. Every time my husband goes to Costco, I tell him to get me more bins, and he's like, "Why do you need more bins?" I'm like, "Don't ask. I just need them." Aw. Okay. So yeah, if you're new here, this is how I keep my orders. I'm going to cover up her address, but I put them in these folders. These are literally just folders that you can get on Amazon. I got them on Amazon, but they're what like car shops use to put your invoice and keys in, just keep them separated. And I've just found them like super helpful for me because I'm constantly like cutting out like different clothing items, and I need to keep them separated. So I'll cut out like the order, and then I'll fold it up, and then I just like put them in here. And then so like this one in here, where is it? Like this one has 3 different items, and it just like I fold them up, and then I just put them in here, and then that way their complete order is in here, and it just keeps you organized. Storage totes. I know. My whole garage is literally. Plus, I used to do markets. I didn't do any this year because of COVID. But then also, like, I'm in a local store now, and so that's kept me busy. And then online sales because of COVID, like, have boomed, and it's just like nonstop. And so I'm like, I couldn't do markets anymore. I just didn't have the time to like do the inventory. So back there in my shop, I have like all of my like old inventory. I have all my whole setup, like my all the wood stuff that I took to the markets, like my just like my whole entire setup is back there. And so I'm trying to, well, in my head, I've planned that I want to try to like kind of make like a whole area over there and kind of like my own store in my shop, and then do like online lives or something like that, like Instagram live sell or whatever, like just like an online sale. But I haven't gotten there because life is just busy right now. Is it good? The camera is not the one I wanted. This is just the one on my laptop. But if it's working for now until I get 1,000 subscribers and I'm able to use my phone, then I'm just going to keep using this one. The only thing is like for my sew alongs, when I need to show you what I'm doing, I can't really like put it up here. So that's the only bad thing. And the microphone seems to be doing right. I mean, it's clear. And could you guys hear me when I was like walking around over here and like grabbing stuff and still talking? Was it like muffled or anything? Also, I'm about to start sewing, so tell me if it's like gonna burst your eardrums. Is that too loud? Because the microphone's like right here. So whoever's new on here, this live, I just got on here to test out my microphone, and then I just decided to stay. So I need to get all this work done. So I'm like, I might as well just stay on. If I'm on and people are on here, there's not very many on here, but whatever. So for these, what I'm doing is these are the cuffs. But I'm going to what I do is go through the orders when I have a lot like this to do. And I'm going to pick out the sizes. So this is a 3 to 6 month, and then this is a 3 to 6 month. So I do that. So 0 to 3. That's how I do it when I need to get them done quickly. So here's a 3 to 6, 3 to 6. And these are all 3 to 6 right here. So what I do is, because they're all the same size, I don't have to worry about mixing up the cuffs or the fronts and the backs or anything like that, because they're all the same size. So I'm literally just going to sew them all like you guys are going to be able to see me do it in steps like I was talking about last night in my live when I do inventory. So you'll be able to see how I work like that. Because then after I sew all these, then I'll be able to come over here and put the tags on, and they're all the same size. So it just works out faster that way. So I'm going to get all the cuffs out. What I do is basically just take everything out of their package and line it up, basically. Does that make sense? So like all the cuffs are together, all the fronts and backs are together like that, because they're all the same size. It doesn't really matter. Hold on one second. My thing fell out. There we go. My charger fell out of my camera, or out of my laptop. Okay, talk while I'm sewing. So the camera is really clear. I'm going to send you a pic on Discord so you can see how clear it is. Thank you. So long. How do you keep the noise down from the embroidery machine? So when I'm doing a sew along, I probably won't run my embroidery machine, just because I'm going to be involved with instruction and telling you like what I'm doing. So I probably won't have that going in the background. It'll basically be exactly what camera I want to use. I don't know why it keeps going in and out. It's like keeps spinning. So I got to figure that out, but I won't have my embroidery machine running because it's going to be too loud, and I want you guys to hear what I'm saying. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mia. Yeah, this is going to be my first sew along. So we're all going to learn together. Like I said, I'm self-taught, so I'm just going to tell you like all the tips and tricks that I've taught myself. My grandma's taught me that tips that I've like obviously learned from watching YouTube, or just stuff that I've picked up along the way. Honestly, the way that I do my leggings is just how I taught myself, like a faster way to do it. And I'm sure other people do it that way too. Just because that's what happens. You just start sewing and you learn from yourself basically, and you pick up different things as you're doing it. I'm sure, Pam, you agree, like you've been doing it for 14 years and you've probably like changed so many different things, like about how you make a tutu or about how you embroider a shirt from start to finish. Like there's just things that you teach yourself along the way and you get faster as you go. So like what I'm doing right here, I just started doing this as I became part of a store because I've had to get inventory out so quickly. I needed to come up with a lineup on how I can work faster and more efficiently. So that is how I taught myself to get stuff done quicker, basically. Yes, please hit the like button if you like what I'm doing on here. Okay. So I'm going to start sewing in a second. I'm just going to line all these up really quick. I need to get them all out. There's a lot of 3 to 6 months. So it's weird because in the store that I'm in, I sell a lot of like 12 to 18 months, 18 to 20, like the higher, bigger pieces, which take a lot more fabric. So I'm kind of debating on if I want to increase my prices because for the larger items, because they take up so much fabric. Like my 2T, 3T is literally huge. And I don't buy my fabric from the store. I buy it from Spoonflower. I know that's crazy because it's super duper expensive, but I've also tried every different kind of fabric from everywhere, and that's the one that I like, that I can sew the best with. It's the best quality. And another thing for my business was that I wanted to be able to offer a print in clothing, that same print. I wanted that option for the customer to be like, "Ooh, I really like that print. Can you make a blanket out of that?" But have it be like blanket material and not knit material. So Spoonflower, if you're not aware or if you don't know of it, you can literally get the same print in all different kinds of fabric choices. So it's really expensive, but it's so worth it. I get all organic, and that's just the route that I wanted to go. So, yeah. So right now I'm just kind of putting the pieces together, cuffs to cuffs. So these are bummy cuffs and romper cuffs are different. So you want to separate them. So these are bummies and these are rompers. And then these go together. So I just kind of like piece them like this is how they are, the bodies. So I'm just going to lay them flat like that. Bummy cuffs. My cute little. And they're also on Spoonflower. There are so many different patterns you can choose from. So like I feel like, of course, you're going to run into people who do have the same pattern or print as you do. But on Spoonflower, it's less likely because there are so many different ones, you know, like so many different prints. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces to bummies. You have a waistband, and you have 2 cuffs because you have 2 legs, and then you have a front and a back. So you always want to make sure you have all the pieces together. So cuffs. And if you notice, all of my prints are like more neutral. Like the background is like a tan, like kind of like a textured color, but they're all like that. Like they're not, I don't have dark backgrounds is what I'm trying to say. They're all lighter. And it's just kind of the theme I wanted to go for with my business. I just wanted more neutral, just more lighter colors, I guess. Okay, so this goes here. We don't need those. And then this is another one. Isn't that cute? So cute. What's Pima cotton? I don't know what Pima cotton is. Something I haven't heard of. Okay. So I have one pair of legging 3 to 6 and then one romper 3 to 6. So I'm going to go ahead and, since I already started this, I'm just going to do these ones first. It's an amazing soft cotton. Where do you get it? So just join my live on Monday. I do lives. I'm going to do it at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. And I will post, if you look, so that I'll probably schedule a live with all the in the description box. I'll put the supplies you need and what you can like substitute for. So like if you don't have a serger, you can use your sewing machine, or if you don't, and it's not always going to be sewing either. We're calling it a sew along because it's like the majority of it's going to be sewing. But like I already know in the future I want to do like teethers because I do baby teethers, like teething rings and pacifier clips and stuff like that. So I want to be able to just like, it's supposed to be just to have fun with, and we just want to teach each other everything we know how to do crafting. So just something fun. But yeah, you can just, if you're subscribed to my channel, it'll pop up and you'll be able to see like when I'm going to go live, but just mark your calendar if you want to do it. It's 8:30 Mountain Standard Time, Monday nights, and I'm going to put the list on the description so that you can see everything you need, basically. Can you hear me when I'm sewing and talking? Pima cotton shirts. I'll have to try one. I've also been searching around for, so right now all I use for all of my sewing machines, I use the Gutermann thread. It's just what I've always used. I've never used anything else, and it's just worked great for me. So I just don't use anything else. But I've been searching around for just like a more organic, softer one because I love soft stuff. So. Good night, Pam. Thank you for joining. So right now I'm working on the waistband and I'm lining all the 4 corners up to serge it together. This is a trick, and I'll show you on the next one since I already got this one all put together. But it takes time because you want them literally perfect. Okay, so this is like the waistband. You cut it out, it's a long piece. And then you want the stretch to go long ways. This is a stretch. And then you put it together like this. So when I first started sewing, what I would do is do that, and then I would sew it. And then I would flip it, and then I would sew it again. So a trick is, instead of doing 2 steps, you can do 1. Fold it like I showed you halfway, and then take your bottom corner on your raw edges, and take your bottom corner and go up to your top corner. And then you're going to serge right here where all those raw edges are. And I'll show you that is literally makes it so much easier. So if you do that, Then all you have to do is literally flip it, and it's already like all sewn together. So you just make all your edges even around the whole thing, and then there's your waistband. It's already done. You don't have to go through all those steps. And what I'm doing right now is just evening out the whole waistband and marking my center points. So I mark one center point on the seam in the back, and then I mark one on the top up here. And then I put the two together, the two clips together, and then these are my other 2 points, top and bottom. But remember, you want them like perfectly even, your raw edges, because if they're not, then when you go to sew them, you might miss a layer and then you'll have a hole. So you don't want that. So these go over here. Also, hi. Yeah, I was just doing a test for my new microphone, and I just decided to stay on and work because I had people on here. So I got my mic to work, but I did not get my camera to work. But I guess they said this camera is working fine, so I'm going to use it. Okay, so for the waistbands, here is another thing you need to know. If you are looking at the waistband like it's supposed to be on your child, like this, you want it, okay, so the raw edges are right here, pointing up. You're going to be putting it inside of there. You want it to be upside down when you're looking at it. So raw edges up to the sky. When you're looking at it, they need to be upside down. Your cuffs are opposite. Your cuffs need to be facing the right way. So I will explain that again, and I will explain it every time I do it because it took me forever to get it. It's confusing, but like literally once you get it, you're fine. But I wrote it down. Like I literally, when I first started, I wrote it down and I kept it right here behind. So I always looked at it and referenced which way the waistband goes and which way the cuffs go. So upside down for the waistband when you're looking at it, with the raw edges pointing to the ceiling. And then the cuffs are the opposite, with the raw edge pointing to the ceiling. The print goes the right side up. And that is for every clothing item that I make. I just got done telling everyone I get all of my fabric from Spoonflower. It's all organic. You get to choose what kind of fabric you want. And you can, so like if I want to get, like I did, I got this, I'll show you. It's like it's called my winter floral because it's like wintry. So I loved this print so much and it's been so popular that I ordered it in a minky fabric as well. So now I make it in my clothing, but I also make it in a blanket. So I have the minky too. So that's why I like Spoonflower, because you can mix and match your prints if you want to offer it in all different kinds of items. I know I keep asking you guys, but is my mic still working good? I know. My husband's going to be so mad at me because I told him I was going to bed early tonight and it's already midnight. But seriously, how does the time go by so fast? Like, I feel like I just got out here after putting the kids down and it's already midnight. And I get out here at like 8:30. So this part actually does take a little bit because you want them to be nice and perfect and straight. If you didn't do it like perfectly straight, then when you go to flip them out like this, your seams right here are going to be off. And then when you sew it around the leg, they're going to be like crooked. So you always want to do it, just take the time and do it right, because you're going to have to redo it if you don't. But it's therapeutic to me. I love it. You just sit here and piece by piece. Is the sewing machine really loud? Yay. I'm going to have to try one of your shirts. I'm going to have to see what you're talking about because I've never heard of them. I'm excited. I love trying new things. I'm going to talk while this machine is going, and you guys can tell me if the mic picks up my voice, if you can hear it, like, clearly. Or if the sewing machine is way too loud. Of course, I would love to give you a review. And you don't have to send me one. I can buy one. I'm not that kind of... I don't like things for free. I'd rather support you and give you a good review. I'm so excited that you're going to join. I'm so excited to meet new people and just be able to like teach what I know. And I'm not a pro, and I say that every time. Like, I taught myself, but I would like to be able to teach you guys what I know so you don't have to like scavenger around for tips and tricks on how to do something like I was tonight on the camera. I was like, someone please just tell me what to do. Okay, so I just got done sewing all the cuffs, and now I actually am not done sewing all the, actually, which these are, hold on, what are these ones? These ones are, yeah, okay. So always make sure they're going the right way. The stretch I'm talking about. So you always want to make sure the stretch is the right way. Why do these look funny? I don't think he cut these out right. My brother helped me cut these because I had so many orders. And so, hold on, let me check. My brother cuts sometimes for me, but I always have to double check because I get nervous because, you know, it's my order. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking all these apart right now. Not apart, but I'm going to make sure they're all right. And these ones look fine, but the one I was just about to do doesn't look right to me. Yay. Did you list the materials on Discord? I want to do it too. I want to use my serger. It's collecting dust while I've been doing embroidery. I know I've been doing embroidery a lot too. I have so many embroidery orders, but I'm like, I have to sit down and sew all these because I've been literally neglecting this whole table. You should see it right now. It's insane. I was just going over that too. I'm going to list the supplies probably tomorrow or the next day. I need to sit down and figure out, like, I mean, I can show you right now. Literally, it's going to be, you're going to need like this much fabric. This is the size I'm going to do for my sew along, 3 to 6 months. And so you literally need like half a yard of fabric maybe. So not much fabric. It needs to be stretch. So anything that you can make clothing with, like a knit material. I'm going to go grab something over there on the other side. So I'm going to keep talking. And when I get back, tell me if it was like still really clear or not, because I'm going to have to move around and stuff a lot. So let me know how it works. So you're going to need an elastic waistband. And the way that I sew them on, you do not need to have non-roll. I don't use non-roll. I just order mine from an Etsy shop. And I love it because it's super soft. And I'm going to bring it over so you guys can see it. Was it the same? Perfect. Okay, so I order my elastic on the roll, and I get like these huge rolls, and it's 1 inch elastic, and it's just really like, it's really nice elastic. I can link where I get it if you guys are interested. I just have always bought the same one. You can also get it on Amazon, and it's good. I just really like this one, but it's 1 inch elastic. Let me double check that. Yes, 1 inch. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. I use 1 inch elastic for newborn up to 9 to 12 months, and then 12 to 18 months on up, I use 1 in like 1/4 to 1.5 inch, depending on what I can get. So you'll need your elastic. And it's not that much. It's literally 3 to 6 months is like 15 inches of elastic. So you'll need that. And then you'll need 2 of the cuffs. So you need a front and back of the legging, and then 2 cuffs and an elastic. And that's it. Oh, and whatever you're making it with. So your serger and thread, or sewing machine and thread, whatever you're using. So it's literally going to be super simple. You're going to see me make them right now in a minute, and they're so fast. So right now what I'm doing is I'm double checking this pattern piece that he cut out, because I don't know if he did it correctly, and I'm nervous that he did it wrong. So I'm going to check it. I think these are supposed to be... So these are how I make my patterns. So I make all my own patterns, and this is like the waistband. You can get this at Joann's. I got it. It's literally in the quilting section, I think, where all the like big rulers and stuff are. And it's just like clear acrylic paper or plastic. I don't know what it is, but it's tracing paper, like pattern paper. So this is how I do it, and I just like write on here like what I need. Like this is 3 to 6 months, cut on the fold, and then my bummies, and this is the back piece, and then this is the front piece. And then I do, I write on there the cuff pieces. So that's how I make my patterns. So he definitely did something wrong. Yeah. So I'm going to have to recut this. I think what he did was he definitely, see, this is why I checked. I knew it was wrong. What he did was he cut it out just on here like that. He didn't do it on the fold. So this should be doubled, if that makes sense. So I can actually save this piece right here for like a 0 to 3 month cuff, but I can't use it for this one. So I'm going to have to cut out a different one. And he did this one right. So there's one. And he did these right. So I need to figure out what else he didn't cut right. So this one he didn't cut right either. So that's 2 of them. But you know what I'm going to do? This is what you can do. I'm going to show you guys something. Because if you need to cut on the fold and you make a mistake and you don't have fabric, I have more, but I would rather just show you guys this trick really quick. It's supposed to be doubled like that. So he didn't cut he cut 2 separate pieces out. He didn't cut it on the fold. So what you can do is serge each side and then fold it in half and make the waistband. Does that make sense? So I'll show you. So I'm going to make my own waistband out of these 2 pieces, but you got to make sure they're going the right way because it is a directional fabric. So make sure they're both pointing up or the right way. So if you think about it, if it was cut on the fold and the stretch needs to be on the fold, so make sure the stretch is the right way. And normally with my waistbands, my seam where I would serge would be in the back because that's where I put my tags. But because I'm going to do it with this one and they'll never know the difference, I'm going to put them on the sides of their legs. So they'll just have it on each side of their body instead of the back and they'll never know. So I'm just literally serging both sides. And making it like one piece. And that's another trick. If you just watched me do that, instead of pulling it out and cutting it, just pull it a little bit and then you can just wrap it around and sew the other edge and then take it all out at the same time. Okay, so then you're literally just going to fold it up on the sides and match all of the raw edges together. But I'm going to mark them as I go. It just saves time instead of having to do it again. So line your 2 seams up. And you want to make sure your serged edge is literally laying flat the same way. So it's not all like bunched. Yes. I'm creating a fold on each side. So it's turning out exactly the same way as what I did before. But the way that I did it before by cutting it on the fold is you just have one long piece of fabric and you just have to serge one side rather than having 2 pieces of fabric and having to sew it on each side, if that makes sense. So this is where I sewed it on each side and then I just flip it up and I literally make the same exact thing. It's literally the same thing. Except instead of the seam being right here where it would normally be on the back, they're literally just on the sides. And it doesn't matter where you put the seam. It's just personal preference. I just like it in the back because that's where I know to put my tag. So now what I'm going to have to do is just mark the center point on the back, like right here, because these are going to be my side pieces. So right here, I'll mark it, and then that's where I'll put my tags. I hope this is all making sense. Okay, so I don't know why he did it just to that one, because this one he did fine. And this is just one long piece. Make sure the stretch is going the right way. So then I'm just going to fold it in half. So if you're looking at it, fold it in half, grab your bottom corner and flip it up. So after you flip it up, don't move it any other way. Put it straight on your serger and sew the raw edges right here. And then you literally just flip it out the same way that you did before. So there's two different ways you can do a waistband. If you'd rather cut singles out or one big one. Sometimes if you run into, like I said, if you don't have enough fabric of one long piece, so sometimes if you have like this piece of fabric and you need to fold it on the edge on the stretch and you don't have enough, you can do two separate pieces and just do what I did right now. And then you'll be able to have enough. I know it probably sounds confusing, but I've done that before when I don't have enough, or I'll find scrap pieces and I'll be able, because it's just a square. Like if I don't have enough for a cuff on the fold, I'll just find two scrap fabrics that are the same print and then just cut this out in a square or the rectangle and then just sew them together like that. These are just things that you learn like as you keep doing it, and then you just teach yourself these little tricks. Like, oh, if I just sew these together, it's the same thing. Like the waist might be like a smidgen tighter because if you think about it, you're serging a quarter seam allowance on each side instead of just one side. So it's going to be like a little bit smaller, but they're not going to notice, because it is a stretch fabric, so it's going to be just fine. I don't worry about little things like that. The main thing you want to worry about is the way the fabric is facing when you're looking at it. So my waistbands, again, need to go upside down. So when I'm done doing all my waistbands, I go through and I make sure, like this one needs to go upside down. I didn't flip it. So upside down, this one's upside down, and this one can go either way, but I know which way it goes, so it needs to be the upside down. It's my planets. And then remember, your cuffs are the opposite of your waistband. Okay. I am talking a lot. Am I talking too much? This is what happens when I get on a live. I never talk, and then I'm on live and I just can't stop talking. Can't believe you guys are on here watching me right now. It's so late. Nice. You want to cut my hair? I need my hair cut. Okay. So these are actually a really fast, like, project sew up. It literally takes 10 minutes to do one, but because I have so many of them, it feels like I'm not getting anywhere, but then you'll end and then they'll all be done at the same time. So that's why I do it this way, because I feel like there's all this stuff here, but then all of a sudden when I'm done doing that, then they're all done, like literally one after the other. So I've learned that this is actually faster than doing it a different way. And I'm talking, so I'm not working as efficiently, but that's okay. This has given me more experience, I guess, in talking to a camera. Yes, exactly. I have to make a lot of stuff. And like I said, it doesn't matter, like, because these are all the same size. The only thing that matters they are all the same size, which means they all get the same size tag, 3 to 6 months. But I have a romper in the mix and a pair of leggings in the mix, and then the rest are bummies. So that's why I have to do those other 2 items separately, because the cuffs are different sizes and there's just different steps. So you just have to do one at a time. So this one doesn't have, so see, this one's confusing because it's just all like the same in the inside and the outside. So it doesn't really matter which way it goes. So you'll get some like that. Here's another story into my history. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I have my license, and I used to own my own salon, but I decided to stay home after I had my oldest son, who's now almost 5. So 5 years ago, I decided to stay home. So you know how hard it is to build up your business and build up a customer base, like a platform and everything for even what we do right now. It's super hard. You have to work a lot at it. Well, it's the same thing with having a salon. Like, I worked so hard for like almost 10 years to build up my clientele, and I was like steady, and then to give that all up. But it was almost like bittersweet. Like, I was doing it for such a good reason, and I was sad, but then I was not. Like, I don't know. It was just like an emotional roller coaster, and I miss it. But I love, like, even if I was able to go back, I would choose not to, because this is my business now. My husband told me after I started, because I've always worked since I was like 15. And when I decided to stay home, I was like super bored. Like, I didn't know what to do with myself. And he's like, go find a hobby, figure out something you like. And that's when I found out that I wanted to start sewing. My grandma is a crafter, and she was doing something with sewing one day. And she wanted me to do it with her, but I didn't know how to sew. And so I could not figure it out. And I was so frustrated because I just have to figure it out. And so I literally went home, and that's when I started watching YouTube videos and trying to figure it all out. And that was the beginning, and the rest is history. Like, I didn't give up until I could figure it out. I wasn't gonna stop until I did it. So that's where I became Being a Bliss. But I still talk to my clients that I had. I used to do like eyelash extensions. I did hair extensions, all color cuts, anything, you name it. So these are what I'm going to be doing with you guys in the sew along. I promise I won't go that fast with you guys. I'll take my time and explain what to do. Yeah. Actually, guys' hair is a lot harder, I think. Like I used to cut my husband's hair, but now I send him to the shop because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore. I have to admit, this whole like system that I have up right now is way easier than I had up the other night. It's just not, I can't get it as angled because I can't, the webcam, you can move it like up and down. And I can't do that with this one, but I feel like the quality of it is better. And then obviously the mic, you can hear me better. It's not like weird and fuzzy. I tuck my strings in. It's just something I've always done. So you just like turn with it when you're going. And when you get to your side seams, just slow down because you don't want to go fast over like a big hump. And also I keep like my tweezers like right here and I kind of like push it through a little and then just slow down. Because if you go fast over it, you might break a needle because it's like really thick right there because you have 3 layers. Well, you have 3 layers plus the serged seam that you serged in the beginning from the legging, the body piece, and so it's a lot. So just go slow over it and it usually just goes right over. Ah, throwing scissors. Okay, so this is what I do. You can see the back is a tiny bit bigger than the front. So I mark my middle point. Can you guys still hear me good? I get these pens. It's erasable by this little rubber eraser, but it's also heat activated, so not heat resistant. If I put it, when I go to iron it, the marks go away. So I literally just mark my center point right here. I don't know if you can see that. See right there, I just marked that little center point. And then with this, I'm gonna just go over to my sewing machine right here, but I just overlap it like, I don't know, less than an inch, probably 3/4 of an inch. And I do zigzag. I do 2 zigzags, one down this side and one down this side. And I'll show you when I get back. So I put it on the number 4 zigzag. And this is just a regular sewing machine. And the original length on it is 3.5. And then I make it, so I do my length at 3. And then the width of the stitch, I leave it at 3.5, the recommended one where it's circled. Most of them have like a circled one that the machine recommends. So I leave that, but I make the length of it a little bit longer. Does that make sense? And you want to I go all the way down and then I back stitch all the way back. That way it doesn't come out, it's secure. Could you guys hear me good over there? So I literally just, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know how to like focus it, but it's just like 2 zigzags. And so then I mark my points on the A's. I start with the back where I just sewed, and then I just bring it down, find my center point, and then I put these 2 together to find my center points on the sides. And then, so I hope you guys aren't bored on my live on Monday because we're literally doing the same thing. So you guys are getting a head start. Okay, so for your waistbands on your pants. With my bummies, these waistbands that I made go inside the bummy after you sew the body. But these waistbands on my leggings go outside the body. So what I'm doing is, I'll show you after I get them on here. And I'll show you why it goes on the outside. So see how I took my mark on here and I put the waistband on the back. And then the other mark that I made on here, this is the back, or the front, I mean, sorry. And then your side seams on your leggings, I just mark the side seam up to the top of the clip. But you want your waistband elastic to be on the outside of your legging. And obviously the waistband is going to be a little bit smaller, it's supposed to be. But the reason I do that is because then when I serge around the edge, when you go over to secure it, so this is where you serge right here on the edge, the raw edge up top. And then you're gonna flip it over and then you're gonna, excuse me, you're gonna zigzag over the whole piece of it. And so then that's where you get the professional look that it's not like, I don't know, it's not all jaggedy. You get the serged seam and it looks really nice. I'm gonna see if I can bring you guys, or maybe I can just turn this so you guys can see it. Let me see. I'm gonna try to get you guys closer. Ugh. Okay. Okay, like that. It's not great, but it's a little better. Is that okay for you guys? Okay. Okay, so let me get situated because it's all turned. Okay. Can't really see. I need it like on the other one was like up high so you could see down on it, and this you can't, but it's okay. I'm trying. Okay. All right. Okay, so I always start at the back. So this is my back where I sewed the two pieces together. So I take that, and you want to lay the elastic down on here. So that's how I know. And then your print is going to be facing up. I always leave this piece on. I never take it off. So what I do is I lift this and I make sure my needles are up position. I stretch it because see how it's like all wrinkly right here? You can see that it's all like wavy. And then I stretch it to make it even. So just grab it, stretch it, and I put it under there and I move it as close to this clip as I can. And then what I do, you kind of have to like maneuver your hand. So I like have my hand stretched like this to hold the pant, and then I put it down, the lever. And then what I do is usually roll the pin or the needles down into the pants so that I can let go and then it doesn't move. Good morning. We're up late tonight, or early in your case. Okay. So if you're just joining, this was actually just a testing video to see if my microphone worked. And then I just decided to stay on because I had a lot of work to do. So I am working and everyone is just kind of watching me do my orders. So now what I do to start it is you want to hold it tight, and then I take my pin out, but I'm holding it right here really tight so that it doesn't like move. And then I just grab where this next clip is without taking it off. Make sure your raw edge of your legging is matched up to the raw top edge of the elastic. And you want to keep it stretched out the whole way you're doing it. So as I'm holding it with this backhand and I'm holding it with the front hand too, I'm going along like as it's sewing. And then you just stop and then you move your hand and then you always grab the back piece and then pull the front piece too. And just keep going as it goes. Now I'm taking this piece out because you never want to sew over any of that. And just keep maneuvering it around. It's kind of hard the way I'm angled, but I hope you guys can kind of see it. I'm just pulling and pushing as I go. You want to pull and push at the same time. But see how it's like really like, can you see the, you can't really see it. I'll show it to you when I get done. I'll move it up to the camera. And then I always cut this piece off. And I tuck my, you don't have to tuck this piece in, but I just do. I tuck all my ends in because I don't ever want it to unravel. So I just pull it through and cut. So that's my ends. Can you see it? The camera is not really focusing, but you can kind of see it. So then what I do is to me, if you can see that, I have this, I call it my pretty side because it looks nice and clean. This side looks like, I don't know, messy to me, I guess. So I call this my pretty side and this my not so pretty side. So my pretty side, I always lay flat to where you can see it. And then what I do is I roll and I match this edge seam up with this seam right here. So it's perfectly even. And then I pin it together like that. Do the same thing to the other side. Make sure your pretty seam is laying flat. And then pin it. And then what I will do is go over to my other machine. And then right here, this is the back because this is where I sewed these two pieces together. That's where I'll put my tags. I'll put my size and then my label over here. And then after I do that, what I'll do is put it in like this on my regular sewing machine, and then I'll zigzag stitch around the whole thing. But I'm zigzagging on the serged edge right here. I'm catching the zigzag here and on the very edge of right here. And then that way you can't see it like on the inside of the pant. You won't be able to see it because it'll be on the serged part already. And that's what makes it look professional. And then when you turn them inside out, you just have a small zigzag around the whole thing. And it just looks really nice, I think. So I'm not going to move over there yet because I still have all my bummies to sew. So when I'm doing like a mass amount of orders, I'll just do what I need to do on here, and then I'll move to the next machine and do everything I need to do on that machine. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I do have my comments up right here, so I can read them as I go. So then I just take these and I put them over here because I know that that needs to be finished. So now I'm just going to sew all the body pieces to my bummies. So each body piece. One. Is this angle okay for you guys, or am I in the way? Is that better? I do not, Hilda, I do not change my thread. I literally use the white thread for everything, but all of my fabric prints have a lighter background, and so white just kind of goes with it anyway. Ever since I've been in business, I've had like maybe 3 at the most prints that are not more neutral toned. So white is just the way that I go. I don't ever change it. And I've never had anyone say anything about it, so it's easy for me, and I don't have to change it. I have thought about like getting another one of these and putting black on it, or just having like one black one, one white one. But like I said, all of my prints are pretty light, the background. So like this is like one of the darker ones for me. Like it's oatmeal, like a textured oatmeal. And then like here's another one. It's got like, it's like creamy white. And then I have like this mermaid one. So like all of my prints have a really light background. Here's another one that's like completely different, but it's still on the lighter side. I did a romper like this last night. So the background is like, I don't know, like a cream. So a lot of them are just super light. Here's another one, like flowers, but really light. So they all just kind of go together. It's just more of a gender neutral look, I guess, that I wanted to go for. So right now I'm just sewing my bummies that I make. And I can't get the right angle. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I keep the light colors. You know what? Hold on one second. I think if I put you guys right here, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Let me try it, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just move you back down where you are. Ah, this is magnetic, so it like totally stuck to that. Let me try this. I think this will be working good. Yeah, getting 2 sergers. I've thought about it, but I'm like, it doesn't really matter. I just use white for everything. Do you guys like that better, or do you like it where it was? Better. Okay. Trying to get you closer. Okay. I just felt like before it was good, but then like when I would sew, you know, you always move up, and so then my body was like in the way. So I'm just like making sure all the edges are nice and even. It's kind of awkward to me because it's like completely sideways, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So I never really like sew everything the same exact way every time. It's kind of whatever mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll do the side, like I'll do this side and then I'll do this side and then the middle. Sometimes I'll start with the middle and then do the sides. Sometimes I'll go from here to here to here. I'm sure you guys do that too. Just kind of depends on what you feel like doing. So this you got to go at it like an angle. You just got to make sure it's like completely straight. And as I'm doing it, I'm just kind of like turning it. And then you get like that angle. Is it really loud when I'm sewing with this mic right here on me? Nice. So the reason I did that was because, like I said before, I never do them all the same way each time. This round, I sewed it, and then I just I didn't cut it. I just kept going. So then I did that, and I just left enough string, enough slack so that I could get that underneath there. And then after I sewed that, and then I didn't cut it, and I went around and did this one. It's just like, I don't know, sometimes a time saver if you just don't want to stop each time and cut it. But yeah, it depends. Sometimes you'll see me when I do my cuffs. I'm about to do them right now, or my waistbands. You'll see how I do those. I don't lift my presser foot up for that. So these are my cuffs. And remember, the raw edges are up here. And then you want, when I'm looking at it, so you want to think about it like if the baby's legs are hanging down, you want the fold to be on the bottom because this is going to be the part that attaches to the body. And I always put my seam by the crotch. So I just take it and I line it up. And like I said before, the pretty side of the seam, I lay flat going to where you can see it, if that makes sense. So that's my pretty side of the seam. And then I just do that. And I do the same thing on this side. Can you guys see what I'm doing? So the pretty side of the seam is going the opposite way. So I'm laying it flat that way. And so I'm not lifting my presser foot up right here. I just stretch it, and you want to make all three raw edges. There's 3 layers. There's the body layer and then the 2 layers from the cuff. All of those are going to be facing out, and you want them all even. So I kind of go in at an angle, and then I just start going. And then I just make sure, see my thumb right here? I'm making sure that all of these raw edges are even. And then I always have take my middle finger, and you'll figure out your own easy way to do it. As long as you have all 3 layers at all times and you can see all 3 of them, especially the underneath layer, you're good. And I just kind of push it through a little bit, but don't go fast. And then just kind of twist it as you go. And then remember, make sure whatever way the pretty way is, lay it down, make sure, because sometimes it'll catch on these teeth right here and then it'll flip the other way. You don't want that. You want to make sure it's going the right way. And then I cut this piece off. And then you just make sure it's straight. And then I always cut a little piece, and then I use, I don't know if you can see it, but I use a large eye needle. And this one is not sharp on the end. It's literally it doesn't hurt. It's the best one because it doesn't catch on the threads. So I always tuck my threads in. I don't know why, this is just how I do it. It's just, I've tried other things like one of these. I hate this. It always catches on it and pulls my edges out, and it just doesn't work right for me. So the other needle is good for me. Again, I just line it up. I'm so happy that my mic finally works. I don't have to scream into the camera. So same thing. I usually start with my crotch first. I want to get that done. So I pull and I just push. So with my thumb, I don't know if you saw that, but I'm pushing my thumb and pulling the fabric so that it lines, all the edges line up right here. And then I angle it right here and I go in sideways and then I turn it and keep going straight. And that's how I line it up. And then when I stop to fix it, I flip this piece right here back. That way it's underneath and out of my way and I'm not going to sew it. Just push those pieces along slowly. That piece is really thick because it has all the middle seams in it. And I used to, like, see how this is the way that it's serged. I used to tuck it in going that way. But if you tuck it in going the opposite way, it literally lays flat. So when I cut that, you can't see anything. Like, you literally can't see it. Okay, so then I don't turn them inside out. I leave them the way that they are, just like this. And then you're not going to be able to see me do this because my camera's up here. But I'm taking my waistband and the back, you see that seam right down the middle? I'm going to put that back seam on this point right here in the back. That's where it goes. And then I'm just going to line the centers up with all the other ones around it. And remember, this goes inside of the pants now. So what I'm doing is, if it's laying flat, you put it inside of the pants. And so then if it's like this, I can see my middle line. Whoops, there's a piece of hair. I can see my little middle line right here going up. So that's my middle right there. And I'm going to line my middle up with this right here, this pin. And the back one right here, I'm going to line up with this middle piece from the back. That's where that's going to go. Just like that. Pin it. And then the sides are easy. You take your side seam, pretty side flat, so it's going to lay flat that way. And see how this side, this is the seam and it's the pretty side laying flat. So then you're just going to take it all the way up and make sure that this is laying flat. What you don't want is to sew it like that, and then when the kid wears it, it's going to be like all crooked and wavy. You don't want that. So you want it to be flat. And I'm just doing that same thing to the other side. And then, sorry, my hair's all in my face. And this is going to be a little bit tighter because it is a waistband. So it's like a yoga waistband where they like kind of like squeeze you. So it's a little bit tighter. So you just slightly pull it. And like I said, I just hold my fingers down and make sure all the raw edges are showing. And same thing, just angle it in there and just keep sewing. And it doesn't not matter where you start because you're going to hide the seam. Just pull it. Push it along slowly. That's a really thick piece right there, so you got to go slow. Push it under. And what I do here is I pull it a little bit and then I line my edges up and take that out. And this is always a little bit higher because it's in the back. So I do that and then I maneuver it and move it closer. Because you don't want to not get that piece. And I'm not yanking or pulling anything. You don't want to do that because then it's going to get out of sorts. You just want to Slowly do it, and then you're going to pull it and line it up. Just keep doing that around the whole thing. Make sure it's laying flat right there. And then I tuck my strings in. I have a magnetic thing down here if you're wondering what I'm grabbing. I use this like little magnet and it's stuck to my desk right here. So I always have it by my side. So then these are done. Like all I need to do is go over there and I put my tag right here, my label, and then the size I put on. So the seam is right here and I put each one on one side of it, my tag and then the size. And then I go heat press them. And then there you go. So that is why it's super important to make sure your waist is going the right way and your legs are going the right way. Because if you did them opposite, then your waistband would be opposite and your body would be facing the right way. And then your waist would be upside down and your legs would be all upside down. So you always got to make sure you're doing it the right way. But that's what they look like when they're done. They're not pressed or anything. So when I press them, they look a lot like more like clean. But they're super cute. Do I ever pre-make them? So I'm in a storefront and I make a bunch of inventory. So yeah, that's the only like pre-made ones I do. So I put them in her store. But for like Etsy or my website, I can't really pre-make them because I don't want to waste my fabric if I'm doing the wrong sizes, because you don't know when you do children's clothing what size you're going to need. Because like some months I'll sell like this table right now is like all 3 to 6 months basically. I mean, I have other sizes in here, but the majority of it's 3 to 6 months, which in my store that I'm in, she sells a lot of my bigger clothing, like my 12 to 18 months and my 18 to 24 and 2T, 3T. Those sell out so fast, which take a bunch of fabric because they're bigger sizes. But I don't want to pre-cut those because if I don't sell them, A, I wasted all that fabric and it's expensive. And then B, I'm just sitting on it. So like I could give it to her to sell, but like I just don't do that because it's just easier for me to cut them as they come in because I'm saving that fabric. Hopefully that makes sense. Good night. It's Pia, right? Am I saying that right? Nice. Okay. See, I'm actually really bad at names, but I'm getting your guys' names down because we talk to each other so much. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was like kind of just like a random live. I was literally thinking I was going to get on here for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes to test this out. And I've been on here exactly 2 hours. So thank you for joining. But have a good night. Get some sleep. And hopefully I will see you and talk to you tomorrow. Do you guys have any questions about what I was doing or saying, or could you not see anything and want to know, or do you want to see anything else before I get off? I can't believe it's 1:15 in the morning. It's probably way later for some of you guys, but my husband's going to be mad. That's okay. I'm used to it. I stay out here late like every single night. Okay, so These ones, okay, so I didn't prep these. These are my rompers, and I always prep them. So I use the no-show poly mesh, the stabilizer that we use for embroidery shirts, and I put that on the back of each one of my shoulder straps for the romper. These are the liners, and then I have the front and back pieces, and I put them on the back of all of them because the cam snaps, when they snap them on and off, you want it to be very stabilized, because you don't want your customer to take it off their child one time and it rips a hole in it. So I learned that by making mine when I first started, and my son wore it, and I went to go change his diaper, and it wasn't this material, so it was the cheaper one anyway, but still, like, I went to take it off and it tore a hole like through the cloth, and so I was like, what do I need to do to like make that better? So I was using the Pellon fusible paper that you would just like heat on and it comes off, kind of like Heat and Bond, but it's not Heat and Bond, it's the Pellon brand. And so that was working really well. And then I just was like, why am I buying all this stabilizer when I could just be using my scrap pieces from what I cut out from my shirts? So I started just doing that. It's okay. Oh my gosh, it's morning time for you, Esther. Okay, so I have one. So who's new to my channel right now? Are you guys all, have you followed me? How did you find me? Thank you. I've made a lot of different things, and I've kind of just like narrowed my business down to what I've wanted and the things that I enjoy making the most and what I just want my company to be known for, I guess. And so I started just narrowing things down, and I've come up with the conclusion that I can't get away from sewing. I love sewing. So clothes are especially my niche, and I stumbled into the embroidery world, and I love it so much that I can't give it up. I got a machine and I love it. My Etsy has been very busy with embroidered shirts, birthday shirts, and stuff like that. So I've been doing that. I definitely make like the bummies that I just showed you, rompers, leggings, like the whole like lineup of children's clothing is what I do basically. And then I also do like baby teethers and pacifier clips and like silicone teethers, like just big pieces of them. I actually source those out from a company called, what's her name? Let me look at her name. Why can't I think of her name? I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, I found her on Instagram, and I wholesale items from her. So I sell those on my website. How do I make my patterns? So I just so when I first started, I bought a pattern and it worked, but I didn't really like kind of the way it fit, I guess. Here, I know you guys are like staring at my sewing machine. So I would buy a pattern that I would try, and then I would try it on my son or my daughters, and then I would just kind of like a seamstress, just kind of take the sides in, make the cuffs. I made the cuffs a bit longer, like the armpits I would adjust. Like I just adjusted it into how I liked it. And then I would go off of that, but then I would find like just like things that worked and didn't work. And so then I would just draft up my own design, and then I would just fit it on my child and see if it fit. If it didn't fit in his waist, I'd make it bigger or smaller. If the legs were too long, I would make them shorter. And that's how I came up with my cuffs for all of my rompers and my leggings. I make them a little bit like, probably like a half of an inch longer than everybody else, because I found that I'm very short, but I have really tall children. And I would buy their clothes and then they'd be way too short for them. So I made my cuffs a little bit longer so they could kind of grow with them. So they're long, but so like here's a cuff. And if this is their leg, you can always, so I tell my client or my customer, they can fold it again like this. And that can be a cuff. And then as they grow, they just unfold it. They just fold it back down, and then you have a longer cuff so they don't have a short pant leg. And so it just kind of like grows with them. So I did that to all of my leggings and all of my rompers. Bummies, you don't really need to do that to. I did make my waistbands a little bit long, like a little wider. So I did the same thing with the waistbands. I made them probably 3/4 of an inch bigger because I wanted them to be thick like a yoga pant. And I just thought that look was cuter. But I also wanted them to be, so my bummies aren't the super tight ones because I wanted them to be tighter in the waist, but then like a little bit poofier so that almost like a grow with me too, so they can wear them longer. They wouldn't be like skin tight. I can definitely make the skin tight ones, but the ones that I make like permanently they're a little bit baggier, but they're super cute. Good night. And then with my rompers, the liner with those, so a lot of patterns, I haven't really like checked out a lot of patterns. I can't really say like how they do them or what they do with them. But for me, I just wanted like not a full body liner. I just wanted it to be like basically just right under their chest so that it wouldn't bother them like on their stomach, because a lot of babies are finicky. I know my kids are, and they don't like tags or anything like that. So that's where I became like organic fabrics, because they're just a lot softer and a lot better quality in my opinion. So yeah, I just grown a lot from where I've started. I've researched a lot. I've tried a lot of trial and error. I've cut up a lot of nice fabric and just like messed with it. That's how I've learned everything on my own. So I've watched YouTube videos and stuff, but it's mostly like you have to do it to learn how to do it. So you have to play with it. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. It is 1:30 a.m. and I have to get up at probably 5:30 or 6 with my kids. So, if you don't know, because some of you are new here, I am going to start doing sew-alongs on Monday nights, my time, 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. So this coming up Monday, I'm going to be doing leggings, which I just kind of went over with you guys. And I will be posting on my YouTube channel the supplies you need and all of that. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I'm going to be doing those weekly or bi-weekly, sorry. So every Monday at the same time, I'll be on live, but every other Monday I'll be doing a sew-along. And I'll post the supplies and everything on there. So, oh my goodness. Mia, 325. You are crazy. All right. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to pop off for the evening. All right. I had a good night. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys. Get some sleep.